What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a new video. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a lovely day whenever you watch this, guys. Before we get into the Stranger Things 5 final episode thoughts and everything like that, make sure you guys subscribe over on YouTube. Make sure you guys follow over on TikTok. I appreciate all the support, guys, as always. But listen, let's get into this quickly. Usually in my volume 1 and volume 2 video with Stranger Things, I did like a likes, dislikes video. But today we're not going to be doing that. I'm just going to give like my overall thoughts, just short, just quickly, about this final episode and about the series in general, And if you are a long-time Stranger Things fan, or even if you're a new fan like me, like I said, I only started watching it this year, so I'm like a newcomer into all of this. Leave your thoughts down below on what you guys thought about the final episode, about your feelings as a show overall, about Stranger Things 5 even as a final season. What did you guys think about like characters and everything like that? Comment down below what you guys think. But listen, for me, the final episode, I'm a little conflicted, to be honest. I don't really have like a set opinion on whether I dislike it or not. I'm kind of like in the middle. And there's a lot of parts that I do like about it, and there's a lot of things that I don't like about it because, as you know, like if you've seen on the internet, like if you're a Stranger Things fan and you've been following all this stuff that's going on towards the final, there's been so many theories about how this is going to end. There's been so much promotion and so much goodwill being put out, by the actors and by the directors saying there's going to be a big final and everything like that. So I think people's expectations was way in the sky, creating like crazy theories about is Will being controlled by Vecna already? Look how he's standing and everything like that. And the one thing that I've learned about the Stranger Things community, I don't know if you guys are like new in the community, like I said, but like I've recently joined, so I've been seeing this happening now all over my like social media pages and stuff like that. But they are super, like, they're like detectives when it comes to these things. They analyze everything, like the switch color on the wall. They're like, okay, no, that color isn't the same. We're all in the dream or something like that. And I was like, okay, all these theories, are leading to something massive because I think volume 1 started off very strong. I think volume 2 kind of dropped the ball a little bit and it was a step down a little bit. But I really thought that, okay, they're going to pick it up in the final. And for me, the final, like I said, it felt a bit confusing for me. At least is one word I can put it, because a lot of things are going on at the same time. It feels very crammed as well into 2 hours. I think if it was 3 hours or like 3.5 hours, I wouldn't mind. I would be okay with just sitting and watching the whole story develop and the whole story end. For all these characters, because in the final episode, the real the real battle, I guess you could say, is for an hour, and then the rest, like an hour and then an hour-ish afterwards, is like the epilogue to like what happens with all these characters and everything like that. And I didn't like how quick the fight was, because this is like the ultimate climax. This is the big fight, that has been going on since the first season. Obviously we learn in season 4 that like Vecna's been behind the scenes and the Mind Flayer's also behind the scenes. They're working like together. I kind of like also that they didn't, fake out. Well, they did fake out the death with Steve, but I'm over characters already, dying and everything, and the fake out deaths. I know this isn't that kind of show, so I'm okay with it. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about was I'm glad that they didn't try and turn Vecna into this like redeemable villain, this anti-hero, this person that's being controlled or whatever. I like that they had that conversation. I was like, please don't do this. Is this gonna be this kind of villain where he's already like murdered so many people and killed so many people and he's kidnapped children, but we're gonna say, okay, no, it's my bad, I'm so sorry, I'm glad that they didn't. He was like, no, the Mind Flayer and I, we're sticking with each other. He needs me, I need him, that type of thing. And it was cool to see that him, like, what's the phrase, like double down on his decision and say, no, I'm with this till I'm with the cause till the end. And for me, like a lot of the things about like the plot and about the story on where season 5 was headed, I think they should have just picked up, like I said, from season 4, because season 4 ends like a very, well, almost like Avengers Infinity War, like where it's building towards something, But the beginning of season 5, it just shows like, oh no, they've patched up all the holes. Everybody is like going to school and everything like that. It's so normal. I really thought that after season 4 that we're gonna pick up, like after the ash and the smoke and the lightning started appearing like in the real world, things were gonna go down, and then it didn't. So that's why I was like, well, what's going on? But I watched it for what it was, and at the end of the day, like when it comes to these shows, obviously there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of love for the show. People grew up with the show. So by the time that they are now, like maybe adults or even teenagers, they feel some type of way about this ending, whether they enjoyed it or whether they disliked it. We've got to remember at the end of the day, guys, listen up, that at the end of the day, there are actors and there are directors that are in charge of this. And people are people, at the end of the day. We shouldn't be throwing, I know people have been sending, threats and hate messages and, sending crazy stuff, towards the cast members, towards the directors. You can always like or dislike the way a show goes or everything like that. But to send, threats and stuff like that, we really gotta stop thinking like that. We gotta take a moment for ourselves, to, relax and breathe and say, okay, hold on, I feel this type of way, but all my anger is vented towards it's not right to be doing this type of thing, emotionally attacking someone based on something that you didn't like, as far as a media piece goes. But listen, I want to talk about something else as well before this video gets too long. Is that I know the final happened and everything like that, but there's a lot of talk online that is going on right now about this Conformity Gate, or this bonus episode thing that's coming out. I think on the 7th or something, the 6th or 7th, I think. The people are busy theorizing that this final episode wasn't the real episode, or this is all happening in someone's mind, and the audience are being tricked as well and everything like that. That's all I've seen so far on my social media pages. And for me, I'm so confused. I mean, you guys must comment down below if you guys are in the Stranger Things fandom. Is this a regular thing that happens during the other seasons, or is this just happening now because everyone feels okay, this is so weird that the show would end like this? There's got to be more happening, or there's got to be some behind the scenes stuff that is going to be brought to the light, and there's going to be new a new episode to tie everything properly together. This wasn't the real fight. And for me, I was so confused seeing all these things, because I know a lot of the theories and a lot of the guesses that people were making of how this final episode and how the show is going to end was very creative. I saw a lot of theories about, oh, this is one big game of Dungeons and Dragons that Mike's having, or Will's going to be possessed by the mind flayer again, and then he's gonna have to fight off this internal battle between struggling with himself, fighting off the mind flayer psychologically and mentally, and then struggling to fight his friends. Maybe there's a conflict there about him still feeling like an outsider or whatever like that. There's a lot of theories. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot online, but I don't know what's going on here about this final episode thing. If it really happens, I'd be very surprised. I'd be very shocked to see something done like this, where they say, oh, the show is coming to an end, everything like that, and then they slide a final episode a week after the fact or something like that. That would be insane. I don't know if it's gonna happen, whether the chance of it is real or not. I mean, it's a low chance in my opinion. I think a lot of people are still trying to look at things in the show and say, okay, no, there's a lot of things that are wrong in the show, but let's see, actually, is there gonna be a final twist happening towards the final end of the show, where they actually add on an extra episode. I don't know. It's also confusing, but I just wanted to let you know how I felt about this, because obviously I made 2 videos on Volume 1 and Volume 2. And overall, like I said, it's been a fun ride to watch this and to be part of this buzz and part of this community watching the show, because like I said, I never watched it, and now I'm into it. It was so cool seeing everybody talk about it at the same time. It reminded me of the Avengers Endgame days, when I would sit in class and I would talk with all my friends oh my word, how are they gonna fight off Thanos now, since the world is gone to an end. He's taken 50% of all life on Earth and everything. So many heroes are missing. What are they gonna do? Blah blah blah. It was so cool being back in that. It reminded me of a nice time when I was in into the Marvel films very hardcore, and I used to watch and theorize and everything like that. It was very cool to see all of that. But listen, guys, I'm gonna end it there. Like I said, my final thoughts on the final, it was okay. There's a lot of details and things that are missing, and a lot of stuff that is confusing, but I'm not here to dissect and talk about all that. You guys can go see better content creators that focused on these type of things that explain it very well. But yeah, comment down below, guys, what your thoughts were on the final episode, on Stranger Things in its entirety. As it's come to an end, it's 8 or 9 years, so this is a lot of people's childhood as well that they've grown up with the show, and it's now coming to an end. So that is a sad point to think about. But yeah, that's gonna be all for today's video, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys check out the TikTok and the YouTube, of course, whichever platform you're on. Go check out the other one. I appreciate all support, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.